Retiring Well, brought to you by Centennial Wealth Advisory, financial advisors specializing in retirement planning and serving all of Northern Michigan. Retiring Well, helping you plan for a successful and comfortable retirement. Retiring Well, plan to retire well.
Hi, welcome to our show today. I'm really pleased because I got a special guest today named Mike Gruley. He has a company called One Vision Advisors LLC, and it's the numeral one, right? It starts. All right. And he's going to tell us a little bit about what he does. But before we get into that, Mike, can you tell me a little bit about who you are and what you do?
I'd love to, Larry, and thank you so much for having me on your show. I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. I grew up in an entrepreneurial family. My brothers and sisters and I all worked in the family our whole lives up through college. I graduated college. I had such a fire to be an entrepreneur. I started a business. It was a 2.5-year nightmare. But then I later started another business when I was 29 years old. I had it for 20 years, sold that business. I've been involved in a lot of businesses through the years on boards and advisors, and I just love the whole entrepreneurial spirit thing.
Right.
So, but at a time in my career when I was really frustrated with my business, we were trying to grow and we were just kind of hitting the ceiling. I read a book called Traction and about the entrepreneurial operating system, and we used it in our business, and it was fantastic. And so that took me to the next chapter of my life, which is helping coach businesses to that kind of awakening. So that's
now,
what
Mike, I understand you serve predominantly the state of Michigan. I mean, all over.
Yes, I've lived in Michigan my whole life, 57 years. I spent a lot of time in northern Michigan. I just feel like I'm at home when I'm in northern Michigan. And predominantly all my clients are in the Michigan area, but I can serve anywhere. But I love Michigan. Yeah. So
we'd like to keep that a secret, by the way, because we got way too many people moving up here in this area. But, tell me a little bit about what you're doing. What is it we're helping entrepreneurs do?
Well, I know you've been had a CPA firm for 25 years or so, and so this will resonate with you, Larry. But businesses get started, and they're very good at what they do, and then they start to grow, and they start to build, and pretty soon they have clients waiting outside the door, and there's a line, they're hiring people, new things are happening, and it's getting chaotic, it's getting a little crazy. And at some point, they feel like they sort of hit a ceiling. They kind of can't break through, and they feel like they can't get where they want to go. And it's very normal. It's about as common as water. And so we help people break through that, to get through, to get what they want out of their business. Because at some point, Larry, they're just not getting what they want from their business.
Mike, I've talked about this before on our show, but entrepreneurs are a special breed. They're not everybody. Not everybody gets up in the morning and wants to be an entrepreneur. They're typically people that are very good at what they do. But you're right, they're good at what they do. They jump in, they become entrepreneurs, they have this growing business, and then all of a sudden it hits these points. And there's some things that didn't come along with the job that they didn't realize, and now they need a little bit of help, right?
Yes, that's exactly it. And and the sad part is sometimes they take it personally. They feel like, well, maybe I've made a mistake. I've hit this wall. I'm not growing. My employees maybe aren't that happy. My customers are frustrated. I'm working long hours. My personal life is a little chaotic. I've done something wrong, and I want to say, congratulations, you're a success. It's chaos. This is normal. It happens to all business owners. I've been through it. I'll bet you have. And so the key is to all those things that you didn't know about running a business, they're easy. And it's just a structure and a process so that you can learn to break through that and get what you want from your business.
Yeah, Mike, I used to find this, you get that entrepreneur, he's a hard worker. So when he gets into those pain points, all right, he starts to, have some resistance and have some troubles. He just works harder. But I would say this all the time, he might be just working harder doing the wrong things. I think of that entrepreneur as a great salesman, right? Great with people. But when he gets into trouble, he thinks the answer to all his problems is just selling more. And they never get to address what the real ills are with their businesses. I used to liken it to, let's take the 10,000-foot view and kind of take a look at our world here. Let me help you do that, so I can walk you through some things to see what you're doing.
Absolutely. I mean, when you start a business, you're usually a tactician, you're really good at something, and so when it gets busy, you pedal faster, and then it gets busier and you pedal even faster, but you reach a point where you just can't pedal faster anymore, and it really starts to have an effect on what you want. And, and I always tell people, this is your business. It should serve you. You should run your business. Your business shouldn't run you. And as someone that's had a business run him, and I think we all experience it, that's what you can get past that, and I can help people get past that.
Right, I really appreciate it. Now I want you to stay tuned because I'm going to get into more detail with Mike about the process, how you approach this whole thing with helping these clients or these entrepreneurs get through these pain points. So stay tuned.
Every success story starts with a plan. The success of your retirement depends on a solid financial plan. If you are nearing retirement or already retired, we invite you to an informative live event to help you plan to retire well. There is no cost and no obligation, and dinner is on us. We are Centennial Wealth Advisory, financial professionals, specializing in retirement planning and serving all of Northern Michigan with offices in Traverse City, Cadillac, Petoskey, and Gaylord. Our presentation includes highlights of the Tax Cuts and Job Act of 2017 and the big opportunity it presents over the next 7 years. The surviving spouse tax trap, how can you avoid it? How two similar portfolios can end up with two drastically different results. What's the definition of a bull market? Do you know your risk exposure? And much more. Call 888-608-5825 to register and choose the date and location that works best for you. Thursday, January 23rd at Big Buck Brewery in Gaylord, or Tuesday, January 28th at Lakeside Charlie's in Cadillac. The live event starts at 6 p.m. and is free to attend with a complimentary gourmet dinner to follow, but seating is limited and tends to fill quickly. Call 888-608-5825 to reserve your seats today. There is no cost and no obligation. Don't miss this important live event to help you plan to retire well. Call 888-608-5825 today.
We look forward to helping you plan to retire well.
Hi, welcome back. Now, if you're just joining us here, I'm with Mike Gruley with a company called One Vision Advisors, LLC. Mike, I just want to talk to you now about who is that person out there that could be your client? Who are they?
The kinds of people that I serve are entrepreneurial companies. Typically, they have anywhere between 10 and 250 employees, privately owned companies, growth-oriented, but finding that they're a little bit frustrated. As I mentioned, they're kind of stuck a little bit, and we try to unstuck them, as I say. Their frustrations usually are control. They feel like their business, they're losing control. It's running them, they're not running it. People issues, their vendors, their customers, their employees, they just not clicking together. It's getting chaotic. They feel like they're hitting a ceiling no matter what. They're trying to get somewhere and they just can't get there anymore. They were moving along great and now it's kind of stalling. Right. And they're the types that just, they're feeling like they're not doing what they started out doing. Gotcha. The thing they love to do, they're not doing that so much anymore. Right. Right. I used to love to make the pizzas, and now I'm kind of worrying about the accounting and making sure the bathrooms are clean and managing all that human energy in there that's getting chaotic. and they're losing their focus and what they're really best at doing too.
I used to call it the heart of the entrepreneur, right?
Yes.
The reason they got into it is because they had a heart to do what they were doing. And then when they start to lose that heart for what they're doing, then it's not as fun anymore, right?
Well, entrepreneurs are just passion-driven people, as you know. They're passion-driven people. They have a purpose. They have a cause. They're always driving towards things that they love to do. And unfortunately, business can take you in a different direction.
Right.
And so it's not the end of the world. And like I said earlier, it's normal. So congratulations. Right. Now it's just a matter of refocusing and getting you back to that place where you get that passion and energy, and putting that structure in place so that your company can run for you, and not you trying to be chief cook and bottle washer.
That's right. Now there's another thing playing out, and maybe you've found this too. We've got these entrepreneurs, they've got this company, it has great value, right? They've built something up over a number of years, but they're having pains, they don't know how to transition that value, right? I mean, how do they pass that on?
You know, one of the things that I think business owners don't often think of is are you building a business or are you building a job? And a business has value, a job does not. So if I'm chief cook and bottle washer for my business, it may not have any value to you, because once I'm gone, it's not going to function the way it should. If you want to have a business and you want to have a legacy for not only your employees and your family, then you have to build that structure. You have to create that, what I call a franchise model, something that runs without your constant intervention. That's what builds real value in businesses.
Yeah. I used to hear it said that 75% of franchised operations would succeed, where only 25% of those that were not franchised for that sole reason. You know, it's a franchise operation, they've addressed all those issues, right? They've said, here's a system and process that works, and I'm gonna hand it to you, and if you do everything this way, it's gonna succeed, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And so many private businesses too it has a lot to do with culture. I'm a big believer in culture, and the culture often comes from that passionate owner, you know, that passion, that Larry Flynn, I love working for Larry, blah, 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 he's a great guy, and I love the culture he has. Well, if one day you're just going away, and the new owner comes in and they don't share that culture, there's a mismatch of that culture, and it's hard to drive people in the same direction, get their motivation, get them engaged, make them feel like they're excited to be there every day.
Right. I appreciate what you're saying, because you're talking about symptoms that are more cultural, heart-driven, you know, the joy of what they're doing. You know, when I had my accounting practice, what I would usually find is I was only getting addressed when they finally reached back in the cigar box and there was no money, right? And they had financial ills. Now they want to address all these issues where they have it. But what you're talking about is really interesting, because this is a situation where the owner sees that he has some ills, he's not happy, he knows it could be better, but he doesn't know how to get it from A to B.
That's exactly it, Larry. And we don't recognize it. I say we don't because as entrepreneurs, we sometimes don't see the ills in our own business, and we need help a little bit from the outside.
Right. Well, I hope you're finding this very valuable and interesting. And I want you to stay tuned, because in the next segment, we're going to talk a little bit more what that process looks like, what from start to finish, how you walking these clients through this to help them with their needs. So stay tuned. If you're retired or approaching retirement in the next 5 to 10 years, join us for an informative live event. This event is all about you, the challenges you face, and the information you need to help you build the future that you want. There's no pressure to become a client. Our goal is simply to give you valuable information that you can use to make smarter financial decisions. We hope that by the time you leave this event, you'll be one step closer to your retirement goals.
Are you retired or approaching retirement in the next 5 to 10 years? Join the Centennial Wealth Advisory team for an exciting presentation with complimentary gourmet dinner and learn essential financial strategies for a comfortable retirement. Call 888-608-5825 to reserve your seats today. There is no cost and no obligation. Call 888-608-5825.
Hi, welcome back. Now, if you're just joining us, I'm here with Mike Gruley with a company called One Vision Advisors, LLC, and we're talking about helping entrepreneurs get through rough spots, or what you call pain points, right, Mike?
Right.
So somebody wants to talk to you. Walk us through. What's that look like?
Well, our goal with organizations that feel stuck is to help them get unstuck. And how I do that is my goal is to help these entrepreneurs first get what they want from their business, right? Some want growth, some want more profit, some just want some of their life back. And so I do that by helping them implement a complete proven process with very simple and practical tools that help them get three things I call vision, traction, and healthy. The vision is just getting everyone on their leadership team, because we deal with leadership teams, getting them on board with where the organization's going and how you plan to get there. Traction from the standpoint of instilling discipline and accountability in that leadership team, so they're always executing on that vision. And then healthy, just helping them be more cohesive, functional, open, and honest, because sometimes great leaders don't always work really great as a team, so we got to kind of get them cohesive. As that leadership team goes, Larry, so goes the rest of the organization. So eventually everyone top to bottom sees the vision, wants to follow, executing with discipline and accountability, and doing so in a healthy environment.
Right. So when you're working, you mentioned a funny thing. Sometimes you got to get that leadership team cohesive.
That's where it starts.
That's where it starts, right?
Without that, I don't know how you do it.
Yeah. How many times you come into these for a person, they're not all on the same page, right?
Well, you know, it's funny. I can sit with groups. I can take a leadership team, divide them up, and say, I want you all to write down your vision. And they'll all have one. And it might even be very specific, but I can almost guarantee you it won't be the same. And sometimes it's dramatically different. And, you know, without even realizing it, that's the message they're sending to their team, to their organization. And it's confusing. And it causes the organization not to be able to focus to get the results they want. And so just starting at that top and getting that focus and that vision and getting the right culture that's 80% of it.
Right. Talk to me about that culture, because I think most of our audience, that if they're working for any company out there, right, they could even relate to this. There's a culture that's established with the organization, right?
Sure. Yeah. You want to believe what your employer believes. You want to know what you do every day. I don't care if you're just if you're cleaning the restrooms. You want to know that what does this contribute to the greater cause? Where are we going with this? And people really are engaged with that. They really do feel like they're contributing when they know where we're going. They're not just doing a job every day. They're contributing to a purpose or a cause or a passion. Very important to people and very often overlooked by we entrepreneurs because we're busy making the trains run on time.
Right. Well, we get out of bed differently, don't we? I mean, because, you know, but you got these people that just want to go to work, they want to add value, they want to be part of something, but they got to know what they're part of, right?
Right, and we fail to communicate that. So the goal is to get the organization, the leadership team, on the same page with the vision and what the culture is and who they are and what they want to achieve. And then the biggest part is just communicating that regularly, constantly to their people. So all the people on the team know why they're there and what their purpose is and how they contribute. Right. And how important every job is, not just the guys and gals at the top or the people in the middle or the bottom. Everyone's important.
All right. So, Mike, somebody decides they would love this. All right, they want this. I imagine the first step is getting together with them, right? Kind of talking about what you do and how you do it. Maybe getting to know them to see if they're a good fit.
Right. Yeah. Because one of the things that's really necessary to go past the break through that ceiling is the actual acknowledgement that, you know what, I think I need some help to break through that. And so we usually have a first interactive meeting. It's complimentary meeting. I'll give them 90 minutes of my time, and we talk about where they are, where they're headed, you know, what they want to do, and we can kind of do a self-discovery process, both me with them and them with me, to figure out, you know, can we help you get where you need to go? And again, that's our goal, is to just spend that 90 minutes learning about each other and exploring what's the best options for them.
Right, and then that process is once they've established, okay, I want to work with you, and you've kind of identified where you can help them with, is this, how many meetings, what are we looking at, what are they?
Our process is typically over a period of about a year and a half to 2 years. It's typically a number of off-site sessions. We take leadership teams, go off-site and work with the leadership teams. We don't have any contracts, so my fees vary, depending on the situation, but there's no contracts. So if I do a full session day with a group and for whatever reason they say, you're just not getting it,
Right.
they don't have to pay me. So it's a pay-as-you-go. It hasn't happened yet, but hopefully, it never will. But that's my thing. I have to make sure that I'm providing.
Guarantee, right?
That's my guarantee. I have to provide value, or otherwise I don't get paid. So far we always have. But that's how we roll.
All right. Well, I want you to stay tuned because in the last segment, I'm going to talk about how we work together sometimes when we're helping these entrepreneurs. So stay tuned.
Every success story starts with a plan. The success of your retirement depends on a solid financial plan. If you are nearing retirement or already retired, we invite you to an informative live event to help you plan to retire well. There is no cost and no obligation, and dinner is on us. We are Centennial Wealth Advisory, financial professionals specializing in retirement planning and serving all of Northern Michigan with offices in Traverse City, Cadillac, Petoskey, and Gaylord. Our presentation includes highlights of the Tax Cuts and Job Act of 2017 and the big opportunity it presents over the next 7 years. The surviving spouse tax trap, how can you avoid it? How two similar portfolios can end up with two drastically different results. What's the definition of a bull market? Do you know your risk exposure? And much more. Call 888-608-5825 to register and choose the date and location that works best for you. Thursday, January 23rd at Big Buck Brewery in Gaylord, or Tuesday, January 28th at Lakeside Charlie's in Cadillac. The live event starts at 6 p.m. and is free to attend with a complimentary gourmet dinner to follow, but seating is limited and tends to fill quickly. Call 888-608-5825 to reserve your seats today. There is no cost and no obligation. Don't miss this important live event to help you plan to retire well. Call 888-608-5825 today.
Hi, welcome back. Now, if you're just joining us, I'm here with Mike Gruley with One Vision Advisors, LLC, and we're discussing how we help entrepreneurs, how you help entrepreneurs work through those pains. It might be growing pains, whatever the case might be. But Mike, if somebody wants to get a hold of you, how do they get a hold of you?
They can contact me by phone at 248-761-4401. Or they can go to the website, which is www.onevisionadvisors.com. That's the numeral 1. Visions is plural, or Vision Advisors is plural, .com.
All right. Now, Mike, where we might work together is you got this entrepreneur out there. He's maybe retiring in the next 5-10 years. Yes, he's got some issues. He wants to work through them. But we talked about this offset. There's a byproduct. There's a value here, isn't there, when you're helping them with those issues?
There is, Larry, because we may work with leadership teams to help get them unstuck and get them through the barriers and get their lives back, and so they're running their business, and that's great. But there is a byproduct to this, which is someday they're going to need to exit the business. I mean, we all can't live forever, and so we want to make sure we protect the value of that business. So by having a well-run business with a clear vision and a great culture and great processes and procedures where everyone's rowing in the same direction creates tremendous value for companies. EOS companies, companies run on the entrepreneurial operating system, sell for higher multiples than other companies because of that process. I mean, think of McDonald's, right? So when you have that, that serves very well for the future, even if it might be 10 years later.
Right. Well, and that's what we'll try to tell people all the time is they've been entrepreneurs. It's been the sole source of their income, for as long as they've had the business. But when they look to transition this and hand it off, now they've got to create an income stream. And hopefully they've created the greatest value they can for their business, because the more they have to work with, the nicer their retirement is going to look like.
Certainly, but here's the other challenge, and this is where I get into an area where I know nothing, so I need your help, is because they may have their business running well, and it might be a very sellable business, but what are all those other things that have to go into place that dovetail into their personal financial planning? What does it mean? If I do sell my business, will I have enough money at that point to live the lifestyle I need? What's the best timing of it? You really want to maximize that. You want to make sure that 3 to 5 years before you sell your company, you have your revenues going up, your income going up, everyone's engaged and moving forward, rowing in the same direction. But you guys cover all that other stuff I don't understand about wealth management and all the things putting in place, the insurances and whatever other things that need to happen.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts. There's wealth management, there's income planning, there's tax planning, there's IRA exit strategies we're trying to employ. And then from a tax standpoint, they've got these businesses. Well, they're unpleasantly surprised that at the end when they go to sell it, they've got Uncle Sam there trying to take their part in it. So yeah. So there's all these aspects that are mostly related to retirement, but they really, as you said, they're things we want to be addressing 4 or 5 years before they pull the trigger. Right?
Absolutely. And I think sometimes entrepreneurial business owners don't often think of this stuff. They're busy in their business. Yep. And people that work at big companies may have people that handle this for them. They have to do it on their own. Yeah. So they're fortunate if they have the resources that you offer, because where else are they going to go? You're not going to read it out of a book. Yeah. So you really need to get those resources. And so what I worry about is that they're doing what they do with me, but they don't do that next part, all that other planning. They need to do the whole thing.
Right. Yeah, as a general rule, entrepreneurs especially need help with what I would call wealth management, because they tend to be the ones that always been able to make their own dollars, right? Taking all their life savings or now what they've received from the business and now putting that into the hands of somebody else to try to generate an income is a little tough transition for them. So that's something that we try to walk them through and help them with. So.
Yeah, and I would imagine dealing with entrepreneurs are a little more headstrong. They're not used to asking for help, which is the hardest part. And so getting them to hand off their future to you is a difficult thing. But as I know, you guys do that well. So it's a great tag on, and not to assume that what we do prepares them for the rest of their lives. It doesn't. We make their businesses strong, and we make them profitable. We make them great places to work, but there's more to it than that.
That's right.
That's
right. Well, Mike, I want to thank you for joining me today, because I'm sure our folks out there found this very valuable. There's a lot of small business entrepreneurs out there might not even know that people like you exist out there that they might be able to call. So if that's you, I encourage you, give him a call, see where he might be of some help. And if you're a small business looking to retire or trying to transition your practice and get close to retirement, I encourage you, give us a call, help you with that planning. So thanks for joining us today.